Hello, everyone. This is Sports Legends Southwest on a Wednesday. This is our new feature. We're going to have Sports Legends Southwest once a month so that we can talk to people who don't have time on Fridays. We're going to talk to them on Wednesdays, and we're going to go to the ends of sports and be able to talk to everybody when they have time. So we have a great privilege today. We got some legends in the house. Brother Johnnie Cole, that's a legend. We got Brother Gilbert Good, that's a legend. We got Brother Dennis Brantley, that's a legend. And then we got the crew with us, the president, Jeff Walker, myself, Baruti Carl Alexander, and the mentor, Philip Green. So we finna get right into it. We thank everybody for joining us. If you're on Facebook, chime in with a comment or a question, and the president will take it and he'll give it to the group, and we'll talk about it and so forth. So my first thing I want to talk about, Brother Dennis Brandon, did you watch the World Championships of Track and Field?
I did.
Okay. Were you surprised about the mile relay, how that ended up that they lost, the Americans?
No, I wasn't surprised. Last time I was on the show, I told you that America was steadily closing the gap by training foreign athletes, which I don't have a problem with it, but it's just, majority of some of the college track teams are foreign athletes. And so in essence, you are training other teams, Olympic teams, and that world championship team. So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed also that in the 400 we didn't have America in the top three. So that's a bad sign, bad omen for us in the future if we don't change some things.
Well, I mean, the United States has the biggest depth, but they had three. Botswana had three athletes in the top 8 in the finals, and of course we had none. But the depth of America usually carries them through, and in this instance, but we saw that last time at the Olympics where they was right on our tail, and we ran the best race that we could. Johnnie Cole, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Hey, we can hear you great, brother. Hey, did you watch the World Championships of Track and Field?
Unfortunately, I did, man. I've been moving a whole
Well, what
bunch.
we're talking about is the United States lost the mile relay, which perennially they win. And me and Dee kind of saw this coming, and quiet as it's kept, South Africa got third place and was right there. So the United States is going to have to go some to be able to be the preeminent source in the mile relay. Now, in the other races, they kind of dominated like they used to. The 4x1, or the ladies and the men won, and then the ladies won the 4x1, and Cindy McLaughlin won the open quarter. So it's still going according to form, but the other countries are starting to catch up a little bit. As I was talking to Jeff and the crew, they catching up in all the sports. I wouldn't be surprised to see them totally dominating in the Winter Olympics also. You have a final comment about, well, first, Jeff, did you have any comment about that?
No, I want to go ahead and hear Dennis Brantley.
Yeah, Dennis, you have give a state of where the United States is in track and field, and are we on the verge of going backwards, or are we still going forward? And start bringing in the anthos. I didn't know Serena Williams and her husband were doing this until I saw it on TV. Did you get a chance to see that?
I did. Like I said, I think we're still going to dominate in track and field, but it's not going to be like three guys or three women in every event like it used to be. It's going to be tough, but we're going to have to run our best times to win from this point on in every event. The 4, the 100, the relays, everything. We had to run our best times, and we had to have our best guys. We still didn't have our best 4 guys at the World Championship, but the gap has definitely closed, just like it has in international basketball. The gap is closed, so it's never going to be easy again. But for as the women's league anthems, I really like that because so many young girls,
One second, it's only for ladies. They got it set up only for ladies anthos. And why is that? And do you think there's a market for the men in the anthos?
Well, I think that there's always been a market for men, but I think that they're trying to showcase women, which they should, because so many young girls stop running when they get to high school level. And this is a way of really promoting the sport for women. And I like that. I like the idea of all women there because they need to be shined on too. And because the men are going to get theirs. But we need to put more women into the sport, especially on a high school level. And this is one way of getting that.
All right. Gilbert Good, what's happening? You got any comment about track and field back in the day or anything?
Yeah, the only thing I knew about track and field was Dennis Brantley was a world-class hurdler. I mean, nothing else for me to know because I never entered into the track. And when I ran around the track, I was trying to get ready to play a little baseball.
Understood, my brother, understood. Johnny Cole, you have any final comment on track and field?
Well, Dennis snuck on here. You know, one of the guys I went to school with, man, he was a class act. I can't say enough about his training method and the kind of things that, you know, when you watch him, you want to emulate some of the things because he was a very serious athlete as a very serious person. So I want to make sure I commend him and give him his flowers while we still can talk to each other. I hadn't seen him in a long time, but one thing I know, he knows about that track. So I can't say nothing about that.
Appreciate
I just
that,
want to
Johnny.
mention that I beat him to the fence in elementary school, but that's how
Oh man, you go back to elementary. Wow.
Phil, you have any comment about track?
No, I enjoyed the comments that the gentleman have made already. That was something that I never really did a lot of at all, other than attend the meets and size up the guys that was running and enjoyed the competition that was going on ahead of me. I used to go to TSU relays all the time, and I've been to a few track meets, but track has never really been super high on my priority list for participation, but high on knowing who's doing what and how it's going. And so it's always an exciting events for us, the track and field meets with all the things going on at one time. So I've been to the Texas relays a few times too.
I just got to always share that growing up, that was my favorite sport, and it's still my favorite sport. My dad would take me to the Texas relays. I just wanted to make a special mention about what I'm talking about with Anthos. Anthos is Serena Williams and her husband. They are trying to promote women's track. They have a whole track league. They came on TV. This is the second year they came on TV, and they are going to try to put the sports, sports sneaker companies against one another. It's going to be Nike against Puma, against Adidas, along the line, and they're going to try to have that as the sponsorship that will pay the athletes. So they're going to try to build that up, much like the WNBA has been built up in a lot of ways, just taking a little different approach. It's a different approach than Michael Johnson is taking. Didi, you have any more comment on that explanation?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the whole idea because, you know, one of the things is the women got paid the same day, which was amazing, which they deserve that. Michael Johnson just need to, I like his format. He just need to get better sponsorship because it shouldn't be a money. When you're gonna promote the sport like that nationally and worldwide, you can't have money issues. And I think that he didn't have enough money behind him to do what he wanted to do. But the idea was great. The format was great. It just the money wasn't there.
He needs to team up with Serena and her husband, I think, but that's a whole nother subject. That might be political. So, but we'll keep looking at it and see. That'll be interesting to see Nike against Puma, against Adidas, and, you know, see how they're going. got teams in different cities and so forth in track and field. It might become a very exciting thing. Gilbert Good, you still there?
I have nowhere to go, sir.
All right. Gilbert, tell me a little bit about what you've done in the past and what you're doing now in working with young men in sports.
Well, call Dr. Alexander and to Philip Green and Lil Jeff and Dee Dee. It's such a pleasure, first of all, to be in the same atmosphere with you all, let alone be on the same contact communication line. But I enjoy it. I know everybody online. But what I'm doing now is that, this is my 42nd year actually being.
Back up a little bit, Jeff. I mean, a little bit, Gilbert, from the screen. Back up a little bit.
Yeah, Gilbert.
Back up a little bit
from the screen, Gilbert. You're not coming across.
Give yourself some space.
A little bit more. A little bit more, Gilbert.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, you look too close on the camera. You just look too close.
Oh, I'm too close on the camera. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, when you're as wide as me, I should have been, extending it backwards anyway. Thanks to the help of Brother Lawrence Allen, I stepped out into the national basketball scene in year 2017. And since 2017, I started a program over at Provision Academy. Well, that wasn't any sports until I arrived. And I left there in 2020 after COVID, and I formed a school called Good Vision Academy, which is basically named after me. And we are a nationally ranked school program where our objective is for the benefit of the athletes is to try to change everybody's zip code. And everybody here to earn a scholarship. And so far in the last 7 years, we put 54 kids in school free of charge to play the game that I love, which is basketball. So with that being said, our educational program is NCAA approved. So every kid and everything that we do is accepted by the NCAA, which helps raise the educational level of all of my athletes.
Tell me the name again.
Good.
Type it into the chat.
Good. Good Vision. VISION. Good Vision Academy.
BIS?
V. V as in victory.
Okay. V.
Yeah. GOOD VISION. Good Vision Academy.
Division. Okay. Division.
Okay.
Academy.
Vision Academy. All right.
Division.
All right. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you for that introduction. Johnny Cole, tell us about some of your exploits in the past and some of the things that you're doing today.
Wow, man, I've been coaching now 40 years.
Wow.
And of course, you guys know I started off at Texas Southern University as wide receiver coach. Moved on to Southwestern College as my first.
Well, you were a quarterback at Texas Southern, weren't you?
I was a quarterback and point guard for the football team for Coach Moreland, Robert Moreland, and received the most prestigious award, which was the President's Award and MVP of the football team, and broke several records. So I had a fantastic year, but as always, you never do it by yourself. I had great guys around me and two wide receivers, and Donald Narcisse and Daryl Colbert, who held a record for 20 years as the best dual wide receiver core in the 80s all the way up almost to the 2000s. So, and then of course, guys, Lionel Taylor passed away the 1st of August, and he's also in the Hall of Fame as the first African-American offensive coordinator in the NFL. So, when you make those great strides, man, you always got great people pushing you. And so I always want to say that, and then being the youngest of 9 boys, I had no choice but to, excel in something, besides smoking weed and drinking liquor, they kept me away from that, man. And I always thank them for that. They really, really guarded me as a youngster and guided me the right way. And so, like I said, I went on coach at Southwestern College. You know, we broke all the seasonal records there. A guy named Derek Singleton out of Dallas played quarterback for me. He had transferred from Texas Southern. Went on to Southern University after that, and we won the national championship in '93 under
There's
Pete
a short
Richardson.
for a second. We're gonna come back to you. Okay, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, Pete Richardson, who coached me in high school, you know, and I was able to get on the staff, and then went to Tennessee State and won 2 back-to-back national titles, as well as being the first African American football program in college to win a conference. There's only one other team that's done it. Was State just done it last year again. Went on
Okay.
Alabama State again and won 2 East Division championships. Quarterback was all world MVP. You know, I've had a great coaching career, and everywhere I've been, you know, I've been successful. I went on to go to Lane College. I don't know if y'all know where Lane is. It's in Jackson,
Yes.
Tennessee, where I
Right.
took them to 2 back-to-back winter seasons. And a guy that I know y'all all familiar with is Jacoby Jones.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
you know, he passed away about 2 summers
Yeah.
ago, and he was my prize. You know, we're very close. You know, he's my son. He was the first player in Lane College history in 100 years to get drafted, and he got drafted to the Houston Texans. So, and he was very successful and went on, of course, came back to my alma mater, Brantley, won a championship, finished number
Yeah.
2 in the country. Really should have been number 1. We ended up losing to Tuskegee, but unfortunately, you know, things you know, went sour. So I moved on to Fort Scott Community College, got into high school coaching at Eastern Hills. Now I am coaching middle school here in Arizona. You know, I'm coaching football and basketball, which you know, once I left the college scene, man, you know, and getting out of the bureaucracy of that, you know, I kind of eased myself back in. And also, I'm refereeing and I'm a HBCU Go analyst, meaning I call black college football games on the weekend.
And you have a podcast
Yeah,
about HBU.
yeah, I got a
Since we
podcast.
had you here, what is the state of HBU schools? See, when I was in college, there was no Bethune-Cookman. There was barely Alabama State had just come in. What is the state of it? And do you keep up with the MEAC also?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you give a synopsis?
HBCU Coaches Corner is something I came up with, guys, because you know how even in the inner city that our African American coaches don't get the credit that they need, or being able to get a platform to talk about and let people know that they know the game. And so last year we had 2 million viewers, you know, so, and now with HBCU going, they've changed a lot of stuff. In the MEAC, now it's just 6 teams in the MEAC. The other 4 went on to play in the OVC in the Big South. And of course, now the SWAC, Brantley has now split it up to West and East, you know, and we just got what we call SWAC TV. And I'm glad you asked that. We all should go on your television, pull up the app of SWAC TV, and you can
Okay.
see all the games. You can see the football games, volleyball, bowling. And if all African Americans would show that support for SWAC TV and pull it up, that's where they get their dollars. When they see the mass of African American people or whoever want to watch SWAC football, basketball, then when they see those numbers, that's how they get paid on selling advertisements. So I think it's in a great state. It's up underneath Charles McCullen. He's the commissioner. All you guys are aware of him being from Prairie View and then Texas Southern. Now he's a SWAC commissioner, is doing a great job. And you got HBCU Gold TV now as well. And that's who I work for. That they got a big game out in Vegas tomorrow, next weekend. Jackson State and Grambling. It's supported by NFL Network. And right now, currently in football at least, black college football is the highest rated football in Division I AA in attendance. You know, so a lot of great things are happening.
Hey, Jeff, see how things have changed. Back in our day, we couldn't get on Waller TV.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey,
Yeah,
Johnny.
I mean, things
Johnny.
have changed so greatly. I mean, if we had had all of that, we'd have been able to sop up a whole lot more attention. So I'm glad for you, brother, and keep shining that light. Keep shining that light. Well, thank you very much. We're going to come back to you. Dennis Brantley, tell a little bit about your past and what you have been doing recently.
Well, I worked in Fort Bend, started there right out of college for 38 years from assistant coach and football, basketball, track to a head football coach for about 17 years at Elkins and at Marshall. Was a head football coach. I was also a head track coach, won some championships in both of them, track and football. Retired 2 years ago, I guess. And then I recently came back as a head track coach at Marshall High School. So I'm back at it again. I played a little football with Johnnie in '83 with the two receivers that he was taught, Narcisse and Derek Colbert, and Harold and Johnnie. So got a chance to play a little football at Texas Southern University. So I know Johnnie was one of my biggest regret. I couldn't get Johnnie on my staff to take over my offense. That was my biggest regret.
Hey, I was gonna say that.
Look, I was trying to get you, man, but hey, like I said, sometimes that bureaucracy where they just won't let you do what you want to do.
I didn't have all my paperwork together. I'll say that I didn't need it, but I don't went on to certified masters and working on my doctors now. So I get it. But I can still come back to Marshall now.
Hey, look, if I ever get a position of authority, I'm gonna make it my mission to hire you as my OC.
Johnnie, real quick. Hey, Carl, real quick. Johnnie, were you at TSU when Harry the Machine Gun Kelly was there, leading the nation in scoring?
Yes,
and they came into Prairie View, on the team that my boy Gilbert Good was playing on, and PB beat him down in the Baby Dome. Do you remember that?
I was
Gilbert,
there.
do you remember that, Gilbert?
Oh yeah.
I was there. I watched him hit 67 one night against Texas College too.
Okay.
So, look, we didn't miss Machine Gun Kelly, did we, Brandon? We were full up in that gym. Now we filled the gym up. We had some great team.
But I'm talking about the night when PB beat TSU and the nation's #1 leading scorer in PB. Gilbert, were you on that team?
You must I didn't come on the team until he left. I was there, and then the next year I came out on the team. But we don't talk about PV much. You taught that when you walk down the damn maroon grave. Damn some PV. No, I don't want to remember that.
All right, guys.
Hey, y'all know Tremaine, the head football coach over there. You work for me, right? And I get to the game, he come giving me a shirt. Man, I ain't gonna put that on, man. Look. Hey, I'm a Tiger through and through now.
We spanked y'all that night. I think Mark Rutledge held your boy Machine Gun Kelly to 14 points.
Wow.
Guys, I got a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gilbert Ray.
Yeah.
Is there too much commentary, too much people talking in sports, or does that help, generate interest? But it just seems like it's saturated in a lot of ways. Everybody got to have a comment on football. I mean, you have already an hour show from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and then you got the games all day. And kind of everybody's going to that format. Is it too much talking, or is that just making a way for Stephen A. Smith and some others? Gilbert, what you think?
Well, let me just tell you how I feel about, first of all, the parents. Right now these kids are not being pushed. If your mom and daddy got a little more money than his mom and daddy, then you may get on the floor. You're not earning your stripes. You're not earning the right to be out there to compete. Because you're not true. So my belief is gonna always be hard work pays off. And if you're not playing hard, you don't deserve to play. I don't care how much money your mother or father have. Because right now there's only 458 players in the NBA. Am I correct? And they come from all over the world now. As Dee said earlier about training the track people, they come into America to go to school and they get in America training. Then they go back home and they try to beat the Americans. So
Exactly.
that's what the thing about. I'm not worried about what nobody says. As long as a kid get out there and work his butt off and earn the right to be who he's supposed to be, then I think he deserves it. But I don't think nobody should receive a gift.
Johnny Cole, what's your comment on that?
Well,
is there too much commentary going on in
no,
sports?
I mean,
Is that destroying things?
yeah, I think the commentary is good. Anytime that you can get information, it's good. I mean, once again, in the HBCU stage and platform, we need more. I got into it 3 years ago into talking about HBCUs, and we still don't have enough. But the thing of it, we don't have enough on the right platform. And what did I mean by that? When you look at the PWI schools, and that's what I mean, power white institutions, they have those platforms. Those guys are making millions of dollars. The same thing that we're talking right now, guys like them talking there, and they making millions of dollars. You see the show. We gotta, to me, we gotta support Stephen A. You know what I mean? So we can get on. One thing about him, you can say, I know he ain't always right, but every time he lose a guy, he hires another African American guy. You know what I mean? And he's getting those guys into it. And that's what I'm saying. I think, we can get that platform because a good friend of mine is the CEO and the president of HBCU Go TV. And that was his dream. He also was the guy that worked for BET when they first started ever putting black colleges on BET on television every weekend. He started that. So we got a pitch to sell. We just got to put it together, man, and work together. I was just talking, and I don't want to overtalk everybody, but the MEAC and the SWAC, you got the Orange City Blossom Classic, you got the Labor Day Classic, you got the State Fair Classic, you got the Bayou Classic, you got the Indianapolis Classic, the Atlanta Classic. Why we can't put all those classics together, go like the SEC, like Notre Dame did, and go get some million, and I ain't talking about no $100 million, I'm talking about $500, $600, $700 million and sell that. And you know what I mean? Because all those games are gonna be 30,000+ people. You know what I'm saying? And be able to sell that and make money for our black schools, for our African American schools. So no, I think the more the merry, and because all of us got something to say. All of us are past it. Ain't nobody over here on this show play anymore. You know what I mean? And lost. And it's good to see Danley. McDaniel, he looked the same guy. And it's good to see y'all. And Philip, man, I remember you helped me, got my ass situated. You told me, go sit down, go, I got you.
Yeah, I did.
You know what I mean? So man, it just feels me, man. I'm a people person, man. I love folks. And I think, we behind the 8-ball and HBCUs and as African Americans, and we gotta keep pushing, man. Keep pushing. Everybody do their part.
All right, thank you, Brother Johnny Cole. Jeff, Mr. President, give us some kind of dialogue on where this sports commentary is going. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Talk about the value or not value of Stephen A. Smith and some of the others.
Well, it's good and bad. Right now, everyone has a platform. Even you and I, we have a platform. I mean, 75 Side, Third Ward Sports, we got platforms. So you got just about everybody has a platform. And when you have so many people that have a platform, you have to be careful in the word that they express, the things that they express, the message that they convey, and how they convey the message. Because sometimes you can come across in a derogatory fashion, and then the more of derogatory that you have, then the more you're going to have more problems with more people, because then people are going to start retaliating. See, what's going on is you got people, they're saying negative things about the sport. And then you got other people coming in saying negative things about the sport. And then the guys that's playing the sport, they upset because these guys are saying negative things about the sport. And they feel like they're disrespecting the way they're playing right now. But a lot of it is because these guys now are making so much more money than the guys were making back, say, 20, 25 years ago. And I really think there is some level of jealousy there, because you got guys making 50, 60, 70 million dollars a year now, when those guys back there was making 2, 3, 4, 5 million a year. So I think there's some jealousy. And so with that being said, you're going to have the jealousy is going to come out sometimes in their platform as they're expressing themselves. And then when that happens, then you have retaliation. So that's what's going on right now. You got a lot of retaliation. This guy says this, then this guy got to come back and throw shot back at him, and they're going back and forth, and it turns into an ugly situation. But yes, I do agree. There is too much commentary. There is. But as long as we respect one another, then there shouldn't be a problem. But the problem is some of us lack the home training to respect one another.
Bill, what's your comment?
Well, let me frame it like this. I don't think there's too much. I just think you have to take the perspective of what you believe. You stand for something or you fall for anything. If you have a reasonable doubt about some other things, you just don't talk about them. But when you are immersed in a certain sport or various sports or certain topics on sports, you just give it your best thoughts and your best ideas and you share them. I think that sports is a reflection of society we live in. Everything you see happening in sports happens in some form or facet in society. And so if you start playing sports at an early age, you learn societal concepts of teamwork, of individual, of overcoming odds, battling when it's tough, or just reasoning, abstract, all kind of things. Everything you can do in society, you can do in sports. So I'm an advocate of all the guys that are out there. Now, my guy in particular is Mike Wilbon, as opposed to Stephen A. I don't have a problem with Stephen A., but Mike Wilbon is more concise, more seasoned, I guess, in a style that I would like. But I think all those guys are an asset to our society, an asset to our race as men. And sports commentators are very, very important, just as good as any other area of work you can be in. I mean, on the highest level, you got to give them their kudos.
Yeah, one thing about
for everybody. You know, it's been a statement that goes across. Sports athletes should stick to sports. Sports commentators should stick to that. So what if they start talking about politics or things in society? Are they overstepping, or it's their right? They're human beings and they are a part of society, so they have a right to speak on anything that's a part of society. What you think, Dennis?
Well, that is a sticky subject because it's creating so much chaos. But at the same time, I hate to restrict the right of free speech. You know, we need to be able to hear both sides. Whether we agree or not, we have to decide whether we agree or not. But I think that dialogue is good, whether you agree with it or not, because of the things that's going on in society. You know, we cannot be restricted from being able to have free speech. There's a lot of things I don't agree with, but it's their right to say it. But we also got to have people who are in those platforms to be able to stand up for what is right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it might not be coached to stand for what is right. Sometimes we got to stand for what is right.
Very much so. Anybody across the board, any comment on that?
I like Stephen A. Smith, and the thing about it, because he's opening up doors for other African American guys, you know what I mean? And the thing about the position that he's in, is everything he says, everybody ain't gonna always agree with. And like he says, sometimes he just gotta tell it how he see it. You know what I'm saying? And some guys ain't gonna like it. Like he don't think that LeBron James is the GOAT. I totally agree, and he gave his reasons to. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, he's put in a tough position. To me, he's put in the same position as Barack Obama when he became the president. He couldn't just it's stuff. It's so many things around him that he has to do. He just can't come, man. Hey, look, I'm gonna throw $1 billion to CUNY Homes. And I can, it's levels, it's steps. And I just feel that we need to be like Brantley said it so dearly, that this freedom of speech, man, and just like Philip said, this is where you're getting your information from. You know what I'm saying? And that's big. It's so much fake stuff on this
Yeah,
thing, man. Hey, look, it be catching me sometime. I'll be like, damn, did that really happen? And
Before
I
I
gotta
go too
show,
far, Phil,
yeah, I
tell us
gotta show my
about
young
A1
folk.
Rocket.
Yeah.
Say, Lou,
Philip, tell us about A1 Rocket.
Well, hey, gentlemen, as a sponsor of this fine show that allows us to sit around and cut the fat like we do and talk about sports, A-Rocket Moving and Storage is a well-vested moving and storage company in the city of Houston, in the state of Texas. Been around since 1959. At this point, is a second-generation owner, DeAndre Sam. We're full service, commercial, residential, office. We have 2 outstanding warehouses with climate control, 62,000 square feet in one, 55 square feet in another. Our number is 713-748-6024, located at 3401 Court off of 288 in Yellowstone on Peerless and Quarter. You can get it off of Scott on Quarter. But A-Rocket is well known throughout the state. It's the little moving company that can, and we have corporate clients. We have we are a big sponsor of TSU and Prairie View for the last 30 years or so at TSU and the last 20 years or so at Prairie View. So we do support HBCU, as DeAndre is a TSU graduate.
Standing.
All right, and I used A-Rocket recently, had a great experience, and I said A1, I'm sorry, it's A-Rocket. Make sure you make that distinction. A-Rocket
Moving and storage, that's right.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we are toward the end of our show, and I want my guests to really get a chance to share what they feel they would like to see in sports and what they would like to do still in their life. Give a good.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say to little Philip Green, my teammate at Johnson, how we were young kids, but well disciplined, because we come from families where the mom and the dad had no problem cracking your head open.
That's right, Gilbert. Say it. Say it.
And every time that we was taught in our life, we was taught to speak stern, to be heard.
That's right.
I think that in the game in which we all love, which is sports in general, we have to be vocal leaders, right? And just like being a point guard, they got to believe you and trust you. So with that being said, Coach Cole, I respect everything that everybody said. When I think about some of the things that Stephen A. Smith, just a bunch of black men in America don't have the guts to do what he does.
Right.
They don't have the guts for fear of losing something. When he speaks from within.
Yeah.
And as young black men, as we cradle and raise, you raise while them and you rear your children. So as we're rearing these young men to become better athletes or better leaders, they got to know that their voice has to be heard. And when you speak, you have to speak with a thud in your voice. You can't speak all soft and tender and expect for a man to respect you. If you believe in something, stand up for it.
Sounds great, Gilbert. Thank you for joining us for this particular Legend show. Well, we hope to have you on again at another time. Johnnie Cole, what would you like to see in sports, and what would you still like to do?
Like I said earlier, I'm a big HBCU guy, and I think we cutting ourselves short if we don't come together, and that's our biggest problem, us coming together, man. But when we all fighting over the same piece of cheese, man, we always stepping over each other.
Yeah.
But we didn't learn that walking through these HBCU schools, man. We learned how to take a dime and make $1 and go down there and get a $2 mini special. And put an extra salt on the fries, and now that these young kids are coming through, it's kind of a lost generation, Generation Z and X and P, and I'm still old school, man. I teach the same way. I was at this elementary school, man, and I started off, and the principal kept talking to me because she was afraid that I was going to do something to one of the kids. And I said, ma'am, I'm using this window right now to let them know where they got to meet me at. And the number one thing in any relationship is respect. Yeah. I've coached great teams, and I've got rid of great players or good players. And I tell them right now, if it ain't no respect, it ain't no team. And then by the years over, that same principal came to me and she said, Mr. Cole, I just can't believe it. She said that at first I was afraid. She said, but these kids love you. They love you. She said, I didn't understand the way that you was doing that because I would walk around campus and they would run up and grab me on my legs. And you know, when I told them I was leaving, you know, they cried and gave me a big thanks. So I'm still old school, man, and I'm with my man that's got that open school. You know, man, my hats off to you. And we need that. We need to continue to develop men. We need to stay in them houses with them wives and quit running the street. And if you have, ain't nothing to go back and take care of your kid, man. Take care of your sons. Take care of your kids. They're your future because you got them out there now, man. They fairies. They gay. They everything, man. I can't believe it in middle school that in middle school kids talk like that, man. You know, and I argue with them all the time, man, about you who you are. You know, just wait till you get 18. You'll find out all that other stuff. But you know, I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Smith's. I'm a big fan of HBCU, and I thank you guys for bringing me back on. You know, anytime, you know, I'll make the time to get on because I love Houston, Brantley. I'm still coaching. I wouldn't mind giving me one more shot at that coaching thing. You know,
If I can make it happen, if I can make it happen, I'll make it happen.
you're a legend down there in South Beach. And you know Dr. Smith, right?
Right.
The superintendent. I coached him.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Get on his butt. I coached him. He played wide receiver for TSU. He knows me. But
Yes, Brother
man, I
Cole,
appreciate you
it's a
guys.
different time. When we was back at Holly Hall, we would take a piece of sausage and put 2 ramen soups with it, and everybody in the complex would eat.
That's right. That's right.
It was full. So
Yeah, that's
the kids today don't have no concept of that. You
No.
know, I take my daughter to the store. She want to buy something that we already got. Well, I don't like that, but it works. But it works.
Man, look, I got a daughter right now. That's what we do. We cook and she eat out.
I know.
Can you believe that?
Yeah,
My fiance,
it's a
she
different
cooks
day and
meals,
age.
and we gotta go buy her the daughter
That
something
changed
else.
everything, and these kids have a whole different concept, and we got to find a way to still get through to them. We still got to find a way to get through to them, and maybe we have to come at them in their way on internet and all of that. That's kind of what we trying to do today, but we have to continue and not give up. So I understand what you're saying.
That's right. That's right.
So what would you still like to see happen in sports, and what would you still like to do?
You talking to me?
Yes, Didi.
Okay, yeah. One thing that Johnny touched on that was really dear to my heart is the respect factor.
Yes,
you know, you have to be willing to lose in order to win. These kids need to learn what respect is, because the respect, the discipline, the stuff that we grew up with is not there anymore.
Right.
And and that's what's killing us today as a people. Our young generation don't know what respect looks like. And when they get that respect, they're going to fight. But you have to be man enough and stand firm and say, hey, this is where it's going to be. I'm not changing. You know, and it's not that you're trying to be hard for no reason. It's because you see what I'm seeing. You're seeing that this generation is lost because all they want is money, and they want the bling. They want the hits on Facebook and stuff like that, but they're not willing to go through the sacrifice they need. They're not willing to do the things they need to be, is being great men and great leaders, a great husband and a great fathers, because they're not getting that. And so me as a coach, I'm like I'd rather lose than let you do what you want to do just because you're a good athlete. You got to have discipline first, and everything else will take care of itself. So that's one thing I like to see is more accountability, more discipline across the board with these young kids. The money is good, but I think that the money cannot be the ultimate goal. Is just the money. What about the things that we're talking about? The leadership, accountability, developing young men for the future.
They don't have the stability, Dennis. They don't have the stability. You have too many single parent homes, man. You got a lot of Black women raising these children alone, so they're not getting that stability. They're not learning how to be men.
Right.
Yeah.
A woman can't teach a kid how to
That's
be
a
a
part
man.
of it, Jeff.
Here's one of the things too that you know, now I'm in the middle school education. Do y'all know 20% of the building is in special ed? They
Yes.
tag these kids, man. I'm looking down the kid's IEP, and he's good in math, he's good in English, he's good. Oh, but he has an anger problem. What? They are tagging these kids, man, that don't have nothing but need their ass whooped.
Right.
Problem.
You know, when I was in school, they wanted to label me as special ed. And anybody who knows me knows I was just a cut up, but I was very smart. When they gave a reward for the top test, everybody put in 25 cents, came to about 325. For whoever got the highest grade, I got the highest grade, even though I didn't do anything in school because I wanted to cut up. But look at me today. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's a part of a society problem, but more of course.
If a kid got an anger problem, if a kid got an anger problem, they give him an IEP. He's in special ed.
Wow.
If a kid you know, just a little slow on reading, he's in special ed. You know, somebody's he has an anger problem. You know, just let him do what he want to do. No, not in Coach Cole's class. not in my class. I'm putting you out. You know, you either gonna do it my way or there ain't no way.
You know, we have shows about different things, and education is one of them. Politics also. So I'm gonna have you back on talk about that a little bit.
Please.
That's something we need to talk about. So here on Sports Legends, we want to get people who have things that they have done, things that they're doing, and if they can't come on Fridays, we want to have them on Wednesdays because we want to talk about the deep parts of sport. And really, that is a part of it. The academics is a part of sports also. Now, my dad, he was the one who notoriously came up with the rule of no pass, no play. My father was Raymond Alexander, the Honorable Raymond Alexander. He was on the state board when they came up with that rule. And there was a lot of people that were upset about that. But he said, hey, you got to have more than just sports because you got to have something to fall back on. But at the same time, we can't exploit like before the NIL, the colleges were doing. They were doing that. But at the same time, we also need to have some type of level system or some type of balance so it doesn't get totally out of control. That's our last conversation that we're going to have.
Carl.
What do you think about that? What can we do to give them some balance in the NIL and even the high school system where they're being paid?
Carl Alexander.
Give a good.
I would like to speak. Now, I just heard you talk about, you know, the infamous Raymond Alexander. And I revert back to Alma Allen, Alma Johnson, Daisy Morrow. You know, I was in school with you, Carl. And the difference between the kids today and now is that your mother, Baby's mother, Dexter's mother, anybody could whoop us when we was young.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Now, if you just holler at somebody's child, they want to kill you because you hollered at that child. But that child is running wild. You know, sometimes people give me an accolade that I don't deserve, Carl. I am a father of 9. I got 9 high school diplomas, and all 9 got college degrees. But you would tap me on my back and say, man, what a hell of a job you did. It is the knit of the family. Man, in my family, my wife, my kids' mother was all educated. And boy, when you talk about some discipline, she was short, beautiful, and quiet till the school called the house. have no voice. You had zero voice. If that school called that house, partner, you had time between the phone call from the school to the house to straighten it out. And if you didn't, she gonna straighten it out. And then everybody gonna say, good, but them kids sure doing a hell of a job. I had to go and tell them. All I did was pay the bills.
Yes, brother. Hey, one thing that we did have, we had caring parents. We did have caring parents. My mother and father, Gilbert's mother, Lawrence's mother and father, they made sure, and we had a community. So that, I would say, the culture messed with that a little bit in some way. That's a whole nother conversation. But the nuclear family that we had is the focal point of helping the young man, young woman move forward. And if that is affected, it affects how you grow up and all of that. So I'm here today because of the Honorable Raymond Alexander and Eloise Alexander. And I'm sure Dennis has the same story. I'm sure all of us have that same story. Our kids don't have that story. And what's worse is their parents, even if they're trying, they got so much going on that they're having to deal with. They have to fight against the peer pressure of the internet as well as everything else. So I wouldn't just say the parents are doing a bad job. They have much more to combat than our parents did. But final discussion, Dee, what about the UNL, UNIL, NIL, all that stuff? What they gonna do about that?
You know, I like athletes getting paid. I just had to have some type of regulation. It's like the Wild Wild West right now. Whoever has the most money gonna have the best team. So that's unfair. I think athletes should be paid, but there got to be some type of regulation. I think right now it is destroying the team concept. You know, the brotherhood, those type of things that are not there in team sports. It's all about the money. Even on the high school level, is kids try to get scholarships so they can get money. They can care 2 cents if you win a championship. They care 2 cents about their teammates. So some type of kind of way we got to get some type of balance, because trying to develop a team. I'm talking about a true team concept, that brotherhood where you guys, where me and Johnnie played and me and Gilbert Good played high school ball. You know, we can talk about that brotherhood. You guys can talk about the brotherhood you had at PV. That how you care for your brother, look out for your brother, man. These kids, in most cases, not all cases, care 2 cents about anybody else except what I can get. Some kind of way we got to balance that NIL and get that team concept, because the team concept is gone. The brotherhood is gone.
Understood. Gilbert, make your final comment about that.
Well, it's real short and real easy. I totally agree with what Didi is saying. I'm sorry, Dr. Brantley. I'm so, I respect his word. But one thing about it, when we were young, we was known as the Reed Road Crunch Bunch. We were all down. You cross our path, you faced us all. Now, as he just said, there's individuals who don't care nothing about nobody but what can they get out of it. So with that being the same, how do you become champions? Because it's no one person in champion. I heard Brother Cole say earlier about the first thing about LeBron James being the GOAT. Well, in my eye.
Understood.
We lost Gilbert. Hey, Carl.
I guess we lost Gilbert.
Carl.
Final comment, Brother Cole.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Okay, Carl, that was one other topic. You say are the salaries escalating out of control in sports? Let's touch on that just a little bit. Are the salaries escalating?
That was kind of what I was touching on. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Well, that was a topic of yours, and I wanted to get everyone's opinion on that one. We can start with Johnnie. Johnnie, what do you think? Do you think that the salaries are escalating? Let's go with the NBA. Do you think the salaries are escalating out of control?
Oh, no, not when you sign almost a $2 billion TV package. If it weren't for Michael Jordan, yeah, we all be railroad, because the players do all the work, but the owners is reaping all the benefits. Shit, you got the commissioner making what the commissioner making 25, 30 million himself, and what a car, a motorcycle, everything. You know, no shit, man. I hope they would expand more teams, for more brothers could get on teams, go from 32 teams to maybe 40. I wish they could do that, but shoot, they signed a $2 billion TV package, and we ain't talking about the t-shirts and shorts and all that, man. Can you imagine if they paying these guys $50 million a year, how much money they making? They not gonna give it to us, definitely. But no, I believe in you putting the work in, man. Get your money. You know, a lot of people ask me now about different players. Man, would you send your kid if he was starting at such a college and somebody came in and offered him 500,000 his senior year? I said, shit, I'll be there waiting on him. Hey, he could always go back and finish
the
up school.
concept of what Dee was talking about also, Brother Cole, what about individualism, that they only care about what is in it for them and don't care about the team concept?
Now, let me say this about college. I think in college, there's two types of money. I don't know if you guys know that. There's the NIL money and there's the collective. What's the difference? The NIL money is you're selling your name, image, and likeness. The collective money is what the alumni put together, money. So the collective means that everybody on that team gets some money all across the board. Of course, football will get paid more than basketball. Basketball, then it goes down. Now, these women, they're going to have to take a damn back seat, man. I mean, come on, man. It's supply and demand. You know, you can't get paid LeBron money when you can't even dunk. You know what I mean? You know, so you know, remember that. That's where I think this stuff go off the rails. But the other thing, you know, Brantley, I don't know if you knew the difference. The NIL money, like for instance, when me and you in school, right? Me and you would get NIL money plus collective money.
Right.
You know, I know Miss.
But we're making sure
I
that
know your mama
everybody on the
keep putting up
team
this.
is getting paid.
Her baby hurt.
Good, but it's not a lot of people
Where we
getting
at, okay?
NIL money.
Right.
Some of
That's
that
true.
money is coming from collective, and I'm like you on that. It should be spread down the road. I'm blocking for you, and I'm making 50,000, and you making 5 million. That don't. Not with no young kid, not with no 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. After a while, it's gonna be like you, Brantley. But I think that somewhere the NCAA's got to step in and try to make that thing even across the board. Maybe the quarterback can get his outside money from Taco Bell, Burger King, or something like that. That's a difference. That's different money.
Right.
So that's how I kind of feel about that.
Well, that is a plan, that is an ideal, and something got to happen because it's not kind of going out of control. But that's a whole different subject that we would talk about on another time. I have appreciated, we have appreciated having you all here. We appreciated Gilbert before he left, and we're going to continue. And as I said, we're going to do Sports Legends once a month on Wednesday. And we thank you. And in 2 days, we're going to have our regular program on Friday. We have 2 guests for that. And continue those online. If you have any questions, send them in to Jeff, send them into the site, and we'll try to get them answered. Well, we thank you. Any last word on Sports Legends Southwest?
Thank you.
Phil.
My boy. Oh, who?
Phil.
Oh,
Okay.
no, everything's been wonderful. It's been educational. It's been very profitable to listen and gather the information that's been given here tonight. And I do believe that sports is definitely going to be here to stay and head in the right direction on an upward trajectory with the kind of people that's involved, the character. The money is definitely an issue. It always will be an issue. But understand, money is just money. It's the love of money that makes people do things strange about that. The OJ said it best. So need I say more about the money? But the athletic competition and the ability of the people involved in sports the spirits will always lead the way.
On that word, Jeff, you have a last word?
One last word. You got PV versus Southern University this weekend in Baton Rouge. PV is #1 in the SWAC right now, so I just want to make sure everybody understand that Prairie View A&M University is #1 in the SWAC. Robert, I know you said Dennis. I want you guys to understand Prairie View A&M University is #1 in the SWAC.
Well,
All right, on that note, we say thank
And
you.
when that
and we'll see
change,
you
keep
next
that same
time.
energy. When that change, keep that same energy, Jeff.
That's why. That's because we didn't get the right doggone coach. We should have took Tremaine Jackson when we had an opportunity to, or Chennis Bear, and we sit there and waited
Brother Cole, I
around.
got to tell you, like I know the hood would tell you, that's the way it goes. All right, we'll see y'all next time.
All right,
All right,
bye.
guys. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you,
See you,
Gilbert.
everybody.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
Robert.
everybody.